Hey, Pretty Girl Club. Welcome back to the Creepy Articles series. This is a series where either myself or the rest of the Exoticals creep around the internet and we talk about the gossip that is going on in these internet streets. So, one of the areas of gossip is that apparently, by creating YouTube channels, Exoticals are bullying unambiguous Black women. And I find it interesting how, for the last 15 or so years, unambiguous women have created celebrity commentary channels or Black empowerment channels where their entire content was focused on the dating lives of mixed race women or more ambiguous women and kind of making fun of or bullying various celebrities or just other content creators in real life. But when we finally create our own separate space to respond to that, and to finally speak up for ourselves, suddenly we are the bullies. Do you see the situational ethics? Also, I've said from day one on this channel, I don't have the same morals as other people. So I could care less whether or not people think that the existence of these channels are bullying. If the existence of our channels were truly bullying, wouldn't we have been banned by YouTube a long time ago? How is it that my channel has lasted for 4 years without breaking the community guidelines if I'm such a bully? And I saw somebody saying, like, oh, exoticals, you shouldn't call them beluga whales. You shouldn't use that terminology. No, I get to use my freedom of speech in whatever way I see fit. I've always said that I'm the type of person that keeps the same energy. So I'm not going to call everybody a beluga whale, but I am going to call beluga whales that attempt to bully exoticals beluga whales. So I will continue to say that. I will continue to utilize whatever names, insults, or phrases I want to use because that's how I choose to utilize my freedom of speech. And this is what I tried to say when I first got on here. I tried to actually warn the Black YouTube space. I warned them and I said, hey, just so you know, you may think I'm harsh, but all the other exoticals, they're actually not going to be like me. Exoticals, we don't always take the higher ground. And I'm one of those people who is not going to be the bigger person. I've said that since day one. I will never be the bigger person. I will never be the person that's like, oh, well, I'll just allow her to just bully me or drag me, or I'll allow this person to just talk crap and smear the name of my fellow community. No, I already said from day one, I will never be that type of person. I will always be petty with those who are petty with me. So, do you see what I mean? They can dish it out, but they can't take it back. So, they'll dish out all of this crap or they'll talk all of this crap, but then as soon as any of the exoticals talk crap right back, then suddenly it's, oh my God, you guys are so racist. You're so anti Black. Oh, you guys are such a bully. Oh, you're so fat phobic. Why are you body shaming people? Well, it's because I never promised you that I would not body shame people. So that's the thing. Do you see how when you have the social power, people hold you to a higher standard? They always hold the person with the most privilege to a higher standard. Have you ever noticed that? Like, oh, well, you're the privileged light skinned person. Or like, it's almost as if people treat exoticals like we are the high society of the Black community. And so because you are treated as the high society of the Black community, suddenly you have to be the bigger person and you have to just allow people to drag you because that's just another day in the life of a privileged Black woman who benefits from colorism or a woman who benefits from featureism. So you're not allowed to call people names. You're not allowed to talk back. You're not allowed to defend yourself. You're not allowed to come up with creative insults. It's funny because I actually don't think that any of my little insults or nicknames are even that bad. I've seen people in the divestment spaces calling people bullet bags. I've never called an unambiguous woman a bullet bag. So if you look at their insults and actually compare their insults, trash bag carrying dusties, bullet bags, roaches, stuff like that. If you compare their insults and the harshness of them to someone making up an insult, calling someone a beluga whale or saying they're shaped like a refrigerator, it's not even carrying the same weight if you really want to get technical. But even if it did carry the same weight, I still wouldn't police it. Like for the people who say, "Oh, Exoticals United," you should be reprimanding other exotical channels who keep the same energy in terms of insults. I'll never do that. You know why? Because everybody is entitled to freedom of speech. Unambiguous Black women used their speech as a weapon for the past 10 to 15 years here on YouTube, and so they can't get mad if other exoticals, maybe not this channel, but if other exotical channels, they can't get mad if those women bite back and use their speech as a weapon as well. Because I have already said from day one, every exotical is not going to take the high road. All of us are not good Christian women. People love to try to force Christian values onto you when you're the quote unquote privileged woman in the Black community. They want to suddenly be the moral police. They suddenly want to tell you, oh no, you need to just take it. You can't call people that. Oh, you're shaming them. Oh, you guys made fun of someone for wearing a wig. Anybody who watches the exotical space knows that I actually don't care about wigs. I wear wigs myself. What I do bring smoke to, though, is the women who wear type 3 hair while simultaneously making fun of or refusing to acknowledge the beauty of women who naturally have type 3 hair. I will never stop calling that out. I will continue to make content pointing out that double standard, and I'm never stopping. So who gonna check me? And that's another thing. For the people who don't like the rhetoric or the dialect that we use, if we're clapping back, you can't talk shit about someone and then get mad when they clap back. Unambiguous women have dominated the YouTube space, and they've dominated Black YouTube for decades now. So now that we've created our own separate spaces and we have our own little jokes and stuff in our space, and our jokes are picking up steam, calling it BWE, beluga whale empowerment and stuff like that. So now that our jokes are actually hitting, it kind of sounds like hit dogs hollering to me. You can't call people beluga whales. You're so mean. So I mean, yet there were women who were literally doing live streams when mixed race women got unalived by Black men. Yet now suddenly we can't call people beluga whales. No, I'm going to continue to call people beluga whales. I said what I said. Who gon' check me? This is my YouTube channel. And so that's the thing. Exoticals, they have their own YouTube channel. So when you create your own YouTube channel, you are the boss of your channel. You're the boss of your space. You're the boss of how you run your channel. You get to say whatever you want. So I think that it's not necessarily just the insults that people are mad at, it's the influence that we have while hurling these insults. And it's like, if an insult has the power to destroy your self-esteem, then you never had self-esteem to begin with, sis. So I'm not going to allow people to guilt me into silence. That's just another silencing tactic, really. What it is people want to handicap you. They want to try to force you into political correctness. It's very similar to like when women used to say, oh, if you don't prefer dark-skinned Black women, you're colorist. So then they kind of silenced the men. They kind of made it so that if you say that you like a light-skinned woman, you're going to be shamed for it. That doesn't actually solve the problem. All it does is it causes people to give light-skinned women compliments behind closed doors. So it's like trying to police people and say, well, you can't say beluga whales, or you can't say this insult, you can't say that insult. It's like, who gonna check me? Because you're not God. You're not the moral police. You don't get to tell people what they can and cannot say. So as long as our content still goes with the community guidelines of YouTube, we have the right to utilize whatever jokes and insults we choose to use. Just like how unambiguous women, they use whatever insults they want, calling us birds, ramen noodle head ass bitches, saying that we go from the preference to baby mama pipeline, calling us mutts, or like that one long comment that Paris Milan made where she called us worthless, hideous hybrids. So it's hilarious how suddenly when we respond, we are the bullies, yet people conveniently ignore all of the names that we have been called since before I was even on YouTube. Because once I got on here, I heard that there were other light skin channels that came before me, or like mixed race channels. I heard that there were other channels and that some of those creators actually got bullied off of YouTube. And so nobody wants to acknowledge that in Black YouTube, but suddenly when the exoticals say terms like beluga whale or hippopotamus or hunchback of Notre Dame, then suddenly, oh my God, you're such a bully. You guys are just bullying each other. It's unambiguous women who are bullying exoticals, and then exoticals bully them back. If that's how you perceive it, then I would say do not watch any of the content from either space. I would say create your own space then. If you want to live in a utopian society on YouTube where nobody ever insults each other and it's so perfect and nobody ever faces cyberbullying in any way, then why don't you create that space? Do you see what I mean? People love to ride your coattails and they're begging you to be their representation. So there are people who are begging the Exoticals United YouTube channel to be the representation of perfect femininity or perfect morality, or suddenly I have to be this saint. No, I never said that I would be a saint. I never promised that. In fact, I will probably be more of a sinner than a saint here on YouTube because this is a business, baby. I'm here to make money. I'm here to get clicks and views, and that's it. I don't care what anybody else does. And also, I've seen people trying to threaten the other exoticals, like threaten doxing or threaten to like call their jobs and stuff. Let's say all the exoticals get quote unquote exposed. Who gonna check us? Like, what are you gonna do? Stare at our pictures from behind a screen? What? Try to share pictures and show that supposedly we're all ugly? What are you gonna do? Make fun of our black features? If we truly were afraid of that kind of stuff, none of us would even be on the internet. A part of being on a pedestal and a part of being an innovator and creating a movement is understanding that you are going to be a public figure. So every single exotical content creator in this space is a public figure, and we already know that. So like trying to threaten to expose the other exoticals, it's not going to do anything because unambiguous mono dark-skinned black women, they have no power over here. They have no power over our self-perception. What people do when they try to quote unquote expose you, what they're really doing is they're trying to emotionally dysregulate you. They just want you to feel ugly. They want you to feel inferior. They want you to feel angry. They want you to feel scared. They want you to feel all of the same emotions that they feel on a daily basis. So I am educated enough in psychology to understand that tactic. That's just a psychological trap. Doxing is a psychological trap. Exposing is a psychological trap. Name calling, like trying to call people bullies or mean, you're mean girls. Exoticals are mean girls. You guys are conceited. Name calling, that's another psychological trap. Okay. So there is no name that you can call me that will silence me. There's no doxing or exposing or potential exposing that anyone will ever be able to do that will scare me off YouTube. I don't care if people expose me and they say I'm a beluga whale. I don't care if you say that I'm a 500-pound white woman, which is actually what they were saying. I don't care what anyone says about me. The bottom line is that our talking points still stand and we still have the right to freedom of speech just like anyone else. And so guess what? I get to do whatever I want as long as it does not break the law, and I have the right to a successful online YouTube business as long as it doesn't go against the community guidelines. So if people really thought that we were harassing and bullying, they could have easily just reported our channels a long time ago, right? So why is it that my channel has still been here for years? People will resort to starting rumors and stuff. Like for the people who are claiming to know like who I am or who all the other exoticals are, notice how they actually have no proof. It's literally just rumors. It's rumors, it's questionable recordings, it's questionable live streams. So none of that stuff scares me. That's all just a form of blackmail. People are attempting to blackmail the exoticals so that we can get off YouTube. It's never happening. And also for those who are saying that we're all lying when it comes to the Storytime series, you cannot argue with my experience. You can't argue with my experience. You can't argue with the experiences of all the other exoticals. And also, we can't all be lying. There are tens of thousands of us at this point, and clearly we are making waves here in these YouTube streets if other people are so bothered. So just because our existence triggers your insecurities, that sounds like a personal problem to me, boo. But what do you ladies think? Let me know in the comment section, and I'll talk to you next time. Stay pretty, ladies.